I'm not sure I've ever seen anything like the poll that you're about to see here. Proportion of each group in a Quinnipiac poll saying Trump is unfit to serve as president. Unfit to serve. Independents, 53%. Women, 60%. White college grads, 54%. Non-college whites, 42%. Age 18 to 34, 63%. Age 65 and older, 55%. Blacks, 89%. Hispanics, 58%. Democrats, 96%. Republicans, 7%. That's unbelievable. Now, you guys know me. I'm a policy guy, so I don't really like anything that's like really subjective and really based on like appearance. I like things that are quantifiable, and I like to make my decisions that way. But these numbers are so overwhelming that we have to talk about it, because it's like, that is just mind-boggling. I mean, when you have over half of independents, over half of women, over half of white college grads, over half of like millennials, over half of older people, like, dude, you are in trouble, because this isn't, let's be clear, my interpretation of the way they phrase this question is, it's not just like, hey, do you like him, do you not like him? It's like, hey, do you think that he's so mentally unstable, effectively, that he should be nowhere near this position of power? So in other words, it's almost like a, do you think it should be off the table that Trump should really be president question. Like, that's the way I interpret the way they phrased it. Unfit to serve. That's strong language. And my guess is that even with other presidents that I despise, like George W. Bush, for example, who I think, honestly, on the policy stuff to this point is somehow even worse than Trump. Trump is horrendous, but George W. Bush was as bad as it gets, basically. But I think if you had asked people, hey, is he unfit to serve? I don't think people would have said he's unfit to serve. I think they would have said, I really hate him, but I don't think he's unfit. So in other words, I think it goes to like a soundness of mind issue. And these numbers are absolutely insane. So in other words, the thing about Trump that I think attracted people to him in the first place, that rough around the edges, I'm just going to say what I want, no filter shit, that's not cute to people anymore. People are like, yo, you're the president of the United States, relax. And the first thing I thought of when I read this poll is actually the tweet that he did earlier this morning, which is the stuff he said about Puerto Rico. I'm going to read this for you again. So he said, 3,000 people did not die in the 2 hurricanes that hit Puerto Rico. When I left the island after the storm had hit, they had anywhere from 6 to 18 deaths. As time went by, it did not go up by much. Then, a long time later, they started to report really large numbers like 3,000. This was done by the Democrats in order to make me look as bad as possible when I was successfully raising billions of dollars to help Puerto Rico. If a person died for any reason, like old age, just add them onto the list. Bad politics. I love Puerto Rico. See, that's that unfit shit right there. That's what that is. Because he's taking things that are not debatable and insisting on debating them. So it's not like Democrats got together and had a partisan analysis done and were like, yes, okay, so this is what we're going to say about Puerto Rico. No, we're talking about objective experts who looked into this. I think there was one Harvard analysis that came out on it. The lowest number I've seen is about 2,500 people died in Puerto Rico in Hurricane Maria. The highest number I've seen is about 4,500 people that died. So those are huge numbers. And the way they calculated them, we know how they calculated them. By the way, after the fact, parts of the island were cut off from any communication, and there were trees blocking the roads, so you had to clear them before you could get to them. And it is a given that that number was going to tick up over time. You're not going to know immediately how many people. It's going to take time. So over time, we learned more and more, and then we had the experts crunch the numbers, and we looked into it, and we get the number. But he insists, because he's a malignant, narcissistic buffoon, like, no, I'm going to object to this because it makes me look bad, and I'm going to blame the Democrats for politics. So as he plays politics with something where you should not be playing politics, he's accusing the Democrats of playing politics. This is the shit that people look at and they go, oh, unfit. Because normal people don't react like that. Even somebody who's a Republican and loathsome on all the policies, even they probably wouldn't react like that. Like, as much as I hate all the Republicans who do their Mick resistance and like, I'm against Trump even though I vote with him 85% of the time. I hate those people. But even they would know, this isn't something you say, this isn't something you do, because you're 100% wrong, and you're a despicable human being if you do that. You're the president. You're supposed to be a leader. You're supposed to be, right now, to this day, still orchestrating ways to help the Puerto Rico recovery. Right now, there are fucking over 1 million water bottles sitting in Puerto Rico that haven't even been distributed because Trump's mismanaging FEMA. He diverted funds from FEMA to fucking ICE. So he's mismanaging everything, he's fucking everything up, and in the process of doing that, there's zero humility, and it's all about, no, anything that makes me look bad is fake news. Everything that makes... How would somebody in Puerto Rico feel if they lost a loved one, and they're watching this fucking jackass say this shit? He's just a bad guy. And everything he sees is from a self-preservation perspective, a narcissism perspective, a selfish perspective. It's, how can I deflect, how can I obfuscate to try to pretend like I've never done anything wrong ever, and the other side is bad and they're politicizing it and they're the problem. Even to the point of denying objective facts of reality and making arguments that make less than no sense. I mean, somebody tweeted something I thought was great in response to this thing from Trump. They said, like, I was on the Titanic. I left on the first lifeboat. Only a few people were bruised at first. And then later on, they said a bunch of people died. Fake news. Like, that's the equivalent of what he's saying. Just because the reports were 6 to 18 people in the wake of the hurricane doesn't mean it was going to stay like that, you fucking idiot. Oh my God. How stupid are you? It's a mix of stupidity and narcissism, and it's just every negative thing you could think of, which is why people are saying, kind of unfit. Even people who voted for him on this list are like, yeah, that's not good. And you guys know me, I don't like these arguments because they're more subjective than anything, and it's more about feelings than about the quantifiable stuff, but even I admit there's a lot here because it's getting to the point where it's undeniable.